Boom. What's up, everybody? I don't have a cool intro for these kinds of videos, so I'm just gonna do one of these. Yeah, welcome to the video. I don't know what I'm doing. Look how good this GH5 autofocus is. It's a lot better than you guys said it would be. Actually, it's just okay. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. Welcome, thank you for clicking on the video. This is a very long awaited video, which kind of surprised me because like the title says, I've sold my A7 III, I've bought the GH5, and surprise, surprise, I've also bought the Canon 5D Mark IV. Why did I do all this stuff? Why did I do it? You guys really wanted to know. People that are following me on Instagram, people that are subscribed to the channel. I just have to tell you, I'm not the science guy. I'm not gonna give you spec after spec after spec and like, we're just gonna talk about specs. I'm gonna tell you about my experiences and I'm gonna just give you a different side of it that I think is not quite talked about as much as it should. It really needs to, because well, we're just gonna get into that. Taking it a step back, you do need to know the specs as well. But more importantly, you need to know your needs. So you need to understand what your needs are, then you need to learn the specs and then make the judgment call as, okay, do these specs fit my needs? That is how you should purchase equipment. That is how you should purchase cameras, etc., etc. Because the problem is, we have this thing called shiny object syndrome. These camera manufacturers literally shit out these cameras every handful of months.
Sitting on the toilet. Sitting on the toilet. Sitting on the toilet.
And here we've got this new shiny object in our face. It's got 6K, it's got 8K, it's got 20K, it's got all these new specs. Most of the time, we don't really need it. It's not gonna make us a better filmmaker. And so that's why you need to know what your needs are before you just go ahead and start spending money and start buying stuff. And with that being said, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Why did I sell my A7 III? The A7 III is an amazing camera. It does video extremely well, and it also does photo very well. And so I just brought one camera and I was set. If you needed me to take photos, I could take dope photos. If you needed me to take video, I could take amazing video, and it's an amazing camera. But I wasn't doing video and photo at the same time on these shoots very often at all. Either I would get hired to do video, or I would get hired to do photo, or I would go do my own projects, and typically it would be me vlogging, or it would be me going on a photo mission. It was never really like the same, and sometimes it would be, but I would never really focus on both. It would always be one or the other. And if anybody who takes photo and takes video, you guys know it's a totally different mindset. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Zach, you go and you vlog your photo missions. I do that, and I bought the GH5 in order to do that. The GH5 does take amazing photos. Not as good as a Canon, not as good as a Sony A7 III, but for Instagram, it does an amazing job. And if I need to, okay, I'll bring the Canon 5D Mark IV along with me in my bag if it's super necessary. But the amount of times that happens is very, very few. Does not happen very often. So let me tell you kind of what my needs are. I do a lot of run and gun type shooting, which means that I need to be able to fire off quick shots. I need to be mobile, and I need to be able to get those shots easily, and there can't be a lot of resistance. And so right away, that screams in-body stabilization. So that's the very first thing. I thought the A7 III in-body stabilization was pretty good. And then I held the GH5 and I was like, okay, this is cheating. It's so good. And I know a lot of people talk about how good it is, but coming from somebody that has never used that good of in-body stabilization, it's really good. I mean, it is so good. And so many people on my Instagram, I'll share a clip with them and I'll tell them like I didn't use a gimbal at all, and they're just shocked. I love both looks. I love the gimbal look even though it's way overused and it's not used properly in most YouTube videos and projects and stuff. And I also love the handheld look, and you can do both with this camera. You can do the handheld look, and if you're just really steady and stable, you can also like fake that you're using a gimbal because it's so good, okay? So that was like a huge plus for me. Second thing is color grading. I'm a huge colors guy. I love colors. I love being able to color grade. It's so fun, and I want to have a really good color grading experience and get the colors that I want. It's very important to me. And the A7 III just didn't quite cut it for me with those colors. You get a lot of like banding and just like weird things, and the color science out of the Sonys just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And so that's also why the GH5 really has such a big strength for me, is because of those colors. It's got that 10-bit 4K at 24 frames. It just included, with their new software update, it's got 400 megabytes per second. You do see the difference, and I think you mainly see the difference with like moving the camera and seeing that motion blur. I think just like still shots, you're not gonna maybe notice it as much, and especially when you do upload it to YouTube or something like that, the compression is so bad that you're not even gonna notice it anyways. And so those were really important things for me. And with the GH5, it does take photos that, no, I wouldn't put on a magazine cover. No, I wouldn't put on a billboard and print at a super large scale. It doesn't have the megapixels. It's just not quite there. But for Instagram and for my personal brand, it really is all I need. And so when I'm going out and I'm shooting a vlog and I also want to take photos, the GH5 is an amazing camera for me. So that is why I bought the GH5, and that is why I sold the A7 III in a nutshell. Now, why did I pick up this Canon 5D Mark IV? What the heck? I need a workhorse when it comes to photography. I do a handful of lifestyle photo shoots for other brands and influencers, and I need a beast of a camera that I can rely on, that has amazing skin tones and colors. And you guys know that Canon beats all when it comes to its color science and its skin tone specifically. It is so good. And especially when I start bringing out products for Wayland, I need high quality photography for those products. And so this is a long-term investment. It's a long-term purchase. And that is why I bought the Canon 5D Mark IV. Another reason why I sold the A7 III is because I've had cases in the past where I would bump it when I'm doing a shoot for another influencer and we're traveling. I was just in Turkey with Lewis Howes. I had no time to switch lenses, to do really anything. There was very little time. And because of that, you need to have a camera that's more sturdy. Sony cameras, they're just so fragile, guys, that like if you bang it up or, if it drops, not even too high, just a little drop or something like that. I've had instances where, I accidentally banged it up against the wall because I had it on my neck strap and I was walking and it just banged up against the wall, and my flip out screen was, well, it's not a flip out screen. That's another thing. That's actually not even a reason why I sold my A7 III at all. Like I didn't even care about the flip out screen. Now that I have it with the GH5, it's really, really nice, but I'll still buy a camera that doesn't have a flip out screen if it has the specs that I really do need. So that's actually something that I don't really like need, but it's super nice to have. But anyways, I banged my Sony, I had an A7S II, and I banged the screen, and like the screen broke and I had to go get it fixed, and it wasn't even that hard. The GH5, as lightweight as it is, how small and compact it is, the thing can take abuse, and you feel that while you're gripping it. I haven't dropped it, nor do I plan to. Hitting it a little bit or whatever, just winging it around, getting those shots. It just feels like it can take a little bit more of a beating. And I've heard from other people that actually have dropped their camera, like it can handle way more abuse. And that's important to me, especially with this Canon. This thing is it's an animal. It's so sturdy, it's so just robust and feels almost indestructible. So that is important to me as well. Also, the GH5 has that 4K 60, which is really, really nice. It's also only 1,500 bucks. It's got everything that I need for what I need right now. And The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera just came out, 6K, it's got all these things, but do you really need it? Do I need a camera that can shoot 6K and have that better image quality, have that higher dynamic range, maybe has better bit depth, whatever? Do I need that? Well, does it have in-body stabilization? No, it doesn't. Okay, well then I'm not going to buy it. Even though, yeah, I'll probably get a better image from it. But if you still don't understand lighting, your image is still going to suck no matter what. And I've also had this issue with the GH5. You know, I heard like, oh my God, the GH5, it's got 10-bit, the colors, the color gradient, it's gonna be amazing. And when I bought it and I threw the camera into post, my footage, I was like, wow, this is so much easier of an experience, but does it make me like that much better? No, not at all. Yeah, it's just it's a better experience. You can color grade better, the colors are a little bit better, but is it just mind-blowingly better? No, it's not mind-blowingly better. It's not. Canon is known for their colors, right? And I went on my first photo shoot with this camera and I'm like, these images are going to be just insane. So much better than my Sony A7 III. And I go ahead and I start shooting and I'm like, I'm looking at the images and I'm like, these aren't very good. And then I started to get warmed up and I started taking better photos, better composition, started using the natural light better to create better contrast, backlight, all that stuff, right? Then my images started looking better, and then throwing them into the computer, I could see like, wow, I don't really have to edit these as much because the colors are there for me. But that initial response in shooting, I was like, oh, I started panicking because I'm like, oh my God, I just bought this camera. I'm kind of missing the Sony right now. And that was just because I personally, the shooter, wasn't taking good photos. I love this quote. It's not even a quote. My buddy tweeted this out. His name's Freaking Yikes. That's his Instagram. Go check him out. He's an incredible photographer, does like concept stuff. He tweeted out, he's like, I used my first $10,000 camera today and my photos still sucked. It is not the camera, it is always the shooter. And I know you guys know this, but you need to remember that it's always going to be you. Anybody that uses the cheaper camera, that understands lighting, understands composition and all these things, is always going to take better photos than the person that has the better camera or the $10,000 camera that doesn't understand lighting, composition, and all those different elements. That's just the way it is. So think about these things. Think about your needs. Think about your needs, write them down, then start looking at the specs and figuring out, okay, do I really need this? Do I really need this 6K? Or is 4K good? The A7 III is an amazing camera and I don't take anything away from it, but I saw my needs change. I wasn't doing photo and video that much at the same time. I was really just focusing on video. And I was really needing something more lightweight, had better colors, had better image stabilization. I didn't want to use my gimbal anymore. It resisted me to keep shooting. You know, a lot of people are like, Zach, why don't you buy a Canon 1DX Mark II? Even though it does photo amazingly well and it does video maybe even better. It's an amazing camera and that's why so many people use it. But for me, I know that, man, that body is just so big. I'm not gonna bring it. It's gonna give me that resistance to shoot. And I know I'm gonna miss shots because of it. It's gonna make me not wanna shoot. So you need to also find that path of least resistance and go that route. The GH5, small, compact, throw it over my shoulder, I'm out the door and I'm gonna create some dope stuff. Canon's gonna stay home a lot unless I'm doing a branding shoot, a lifestyle shoot, a shoot for my website, shoot for Wayland and Wayland bags, all those different things. That's what this camera is for. But the GH5 is probably gonna be the camera that I use the most. That is why. I hope that helps a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you kind of took some little golden nuggets away from this. If you have any questions for me and you wanna kind of get into some more specific details, drop them in the comments below and let's start the conversation. Would you guys buy the GH5? I know the autofocus, oh, it's so bad. It's not really that bad. The focus is going in and out maybe a little bit in this video, but not bad enough to maybe distract you guys or anything like that. And I use manual focus a lot when shooting video for other people as well. So again, not a huge deal. And I've got the flip out screen so I can see if I'm in focus or not right now, which I am. So anyways, guys, drop those in the comments. Let's start the conversation, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.